Hey Jose, this is Andy saying howdy from Texas. Um, when I heard that you're retiring, my first thought was, that guy's still working? Like I thought you were so much older than me all that time. But anyway, I'm happy that you've come to this point. I know it's on my radar too, and I congratulate you. And I'm obviously wearing my Lakers jersey because um, the time that we spent together as colleagues and friends working at Glassell Park, the sort of centerpiece of those years was the Kobe and Shaq three-peat from 2000 through 2002. And so add a few years on both sides, and that's kind of the date range we're talking about, from Y2K until 2005 when Dana and I left LA. I wrote down a shopping list of some items that will keep me on track here, and they are secret sauce, shortening, vanilla, donuts, Gatorade, and brisket. So the first one, secret sauce. When Dana and I think back to our time at Glassell Park, I think that we always come back to the one ingredient, which is the secret sauce of the really genuine camaraderie that the faculty had. This wasn't some product of team building exercises, but I think we all genuinely got along, liked each other, and even hung out after work. There were some ill-advised, maybe weeknight outings, and of course there was at least a trip to the horse races and/or Vegas mixed in there too. But in addition to an incredible community and awesome kids, we always look back at that time as like, wow, that's really the sweet spot of being able to work with people that we genuinely like. And I'm so happy and proud to count you among my friends from that time and to now. Next item is shortening. This refers to the time when you were the computer lab teacher. And I remember my kids were always so excited to go to the lab and learn from you. And when they came back, I would ask them what they learned. And the most common word was, oh man, Mr. Salazar taught us this shortcut. You know what? And then there's a shortcut to the shortcut. And I would ask them like, well, what's the long way that you are now providing a shortcut for? And they're like, we don't know, but we got all kinds of shortcuts. And I was like, okay, as long as you understand them, as long as he understands them, we're good. And speaking of also not a shortcut, but another forward-thinking moment of yours, I remember pretty early on, you mentioned, gosh, now that we all have computers, maybe we could, as teachers, like communicate with each other on a regular basis. Maybe like our weekly bulletin could come out via email. And I was like, whoa, hey, slow your roll there, Captain Picard. That assumes several things. One, that everyone on this faculty knows how to check their email. Two, that they're willing to do it on a daily basis. And then, oh my gosh, like what would you do if you're not in the same room or building or zip code as your computer? So, but I always appreciated your way of being a forward thinker and always thinking out of the box. The next item is vanilla. And, as friendships do when there's some distance between them, they continue their interactions online. And so, over the years being friends on Facebook, I really want to encourage you not to be so vanilla with your views on current events. It's hard to see which side you take, and so I would just encourage you. I mean, I appreciate you kind of buffering that middle lane, but for people like me, we're trying to make up our minds. I would just encourage you to express yourself a little bit more and commit to a side or a side to an issue. So. Just some advice. The next item is donuts. In addition to being an incredible teacher, inside the walls of a classroom, I think that, some of the greatest things that you did, and I was so happy to be a part of a few of them, were experiences outside the classroom, things that kids will remember, for years and years to come. And I'm thinking about I think it was a Friday morning in 2002 when the World Cup was in Japan and South Korea. And so the games were on at, 2 in the morning, 3:30 in the morning, whatever. And we got a bunch of kids all hyped up to come and watch the U.S. play Germany in the quarterfinals at school on a Friday morning at 3 o'clock. And so all these cars pull up, and we're there, and we didn't have the key to the gate. So we're contemplating like boosting each other over to the ball box, and then someone could go around, or I don't know. And then there was even a time where one of the parents is like, "Hey, I got wire cutters in my truck." We're like, "No, no, but there's got to be a better way." And so finally, you went home, I think, and got the key, because I think at that point you had a really important position where you had access to more keys than the rest of us. But you ended up coming back with the key. We got in. We watched the match. I still think that was a handball. And the kids were, hopped up on donuts. And when the game ended, it was like 5:45. We still had 2 hours to go until school started. So I'm assuming there was a kickball game that came next, or some basketball or something. And then finally the bell rang to start our day. And it was one of the longest days ever, but it was a really memorable one. And so I appreciate everything that you did to make that a special time. The other one didn't just happen on one day. It took place over years. And that the next item on the list is Gatorade, and I think you know what I'm talking about. And that's Students Run LA. And for me, as an educator of 30 plus years, that to me is one of the greatest experiences that I was able to participate in. And I'm so glad that you were my teammate in being one of the adults and one of the mentors to the kids who ran Students Run LA. I mean, just the teaching kids how to set goals, how to break down things that seemed impossible into achievable parts, and then building back up and watching them accomplish these incredible feats was just magic. And so I just appreciate your mentorship, your leadership, and the time and love that you devoted to that project, both when I was there and then after I left. And there was a lot of Gatorade involved, of course. The last item is brisket. Again, I congratulate you on retiring, and just wish all the best for you and your family. And if you ever find your way out to North Texas, I would love to take you out for some barbecue so that we can celebrate properly. Take care.